Hi, my name is Ron Campos. I'm the lead solutions architect here with Magnolia. I'm usually helping prospects and partners alike in the pre-sales process as well as conducting trainings for new clients. Today, I'll be providing you with a brief demo on how productive a day in the life of an editor can be with Magnolia. Magnolia is the leading composable digital experience platform, allowing you to experience the freedom of a flexible, centralized solution for all of your digital needs. Magnolia was founded back in 1997, and we now have 12 offices worldwide. One thing I would really like to point out here is our 100% project success, meaning every client that has chosen Magnolia has gone live with Magnolia. And here are a few awards that we're also really proud of. In the center, you'll see the Gartner Magic Quadrant for DXPs, where Magnolia is named the visionary with our composable approach to content management. On today's agenda, we'll be looking at the Magnolia user interface, the digital asset manager, the WYSIWYG editing capabilities, including that for spot capabilities, which means that you can edit with WYSIWYG type capabilities any React, Angular, and Vue.js type app. We're going to add personalization at a component level. We're also going to see a component that is allowing us to connect to Marketo and bring a form into Magnolia. We'll take a look at content preview as well as workflow. Let's get started. A user must first log into Magnolia. Magnolia is a very secure and role-based system. So a user logs in with different roles, meaning they get to see and access different things in the system. You could integrate with any LDAP or SSO to make this a seamless authentication process. So we'll go ahead and log in as the content editor. Once a user logs into Magnolia, they're met by our intuitive app launcher layout. All these tiles you see here are different apps in the system. All the apps represent different functionality in the system, just like they would on your phone. The cool part about Magnolia is they'll all look and feel the same. So once a user gets accustomed to working within one app, they can work within multiple apps, and if you introduce new functionality, it's very easy for them to get off and running on those very quickly. The first app we're going to be taking a look at today is the Assets app. This is home to Magnolia's digital asset manager. Here, editors can manage and create different images, PDFs, and videos in the system. We select an image, we see a brief preview of that image, as well as some tags that we see here for it. These tags are all coming via AI software that's scanning the image and then applying them accordingly. To edit and work within an image, I simply double-click the image, and I can see the image itself, as well as some metadata fields associated with that image. Anytime this image is used in the system or pulled via API, all these fields will go along with it, meaning you can use the asset name for accessibility tags and so on. Magnolia has very basic image type editing capability, so crop, rotate, and flipping, but what we do recommend is you bring the largest image that you do have available into Magnolia. What this allows you to do is take advantage of the Magnolia image resizing module. It creates different sizes of different images, so you load in one image and Magnolia handles the rest. If we look at focal points, we'll see this in action. So here's our original image and all the different ratios that Magnolia created of that particular image. Focal points allows us to just do that, allow and change the point of focus on each of these images. So if I change the focus here to the computer, all the subsequent images will change the focus on that point. We took this one step further by allowing you to edit and change the focal areas. What you can do here is you can actually crop that particular aspect ratio when it's called upon. So you fix that image to that aspect ratio. So I can just go ahead and drag this over just like that for iPhone. Cinema wide, I can move it up a little more, and so on and so forth, giving you a lot of control for the images and the different renditions of the images that Magnolia creates. And that was a brief look at the Magnolia Assets app. Before we move any further, I'm going to go ahead and log out as the content editor of the system and log in as a super user. So a super user role in that particular instance is an administrator. An administrator with access to the entire system as a whole. So once that user logs in, you'll notice that their rights and permissions are a little bit different, whereas they see all the apps that the system has to offer. So the next app we're going to be taking a look at is where the Magnolia WYSIWYG editor lives, and that is in the Pages app. So when we open the Pages app, we see our multi-site capabilities for Magnolia here, where we can see we can manage different types of websites, we can have different templates across different sites and all that. You can limit users to only be able to edit certain websites if they're only working within that, but this super user role has access to the entire tree, so I see all the sites that I have available in this instance. The one we'll be taking a look and editing some pages in is the Magnolia corporate website. It's just a simple demo site of our corporate site that we have in the Pages app. When I go ahead over here and select the About page, I see in the action bar all the different actions that I have available to me to maybe change the name on that page, rename the page, maybe add some metadata tags to it or whatnot. What I'll do now is I'll just simply double click into that About page and I'll be taken into the editing interface. I know I'm in the editing interface in Magnolia when I see these green bars. They signify our editable areas where I can start adding groups of different components. So once I click on that main area, you notice I have a multi-column component here, and I can edit different components here. And once I select that pencil icon, a dialog box prompts me to go ahead and change some information if I needed to. So it's very easy for a user to go ahead and change information and be able to get that live preview, which we'll see in a second. So mix of different components is allowed. And again, Magnolia does not put a limit on your HTML or your CSS that you want to use. So any design language that you want to use, you can go ahead and implement. And I did mention it at the beginning, Magnolia spot editing capabilities. So this editing capability with the WYSIWYG editor is also extended to single page applications. So we have those available for Angular, React, and Vue.js. Perfect. So let's go ahead and create a new page from scratch so you can see what that workflow would be like in the data of an editor. The page we'll be adding today is a simple Contact Us page to the Magnolia corporate site. To do that, all I have to do is select Add a Page from the action bar here, and I'm then prompted by a dialog to enter the page name. So we'll call it Contact Us, and we'll select a list from the available templates. Hit Next. We're then met by the page properties. This is where I can enter the page name, as well as any metadata tags. So you could think any metadata keywords, any meta description can be entered here, and then this could all be used for SEO type purposes at the page level. For now, we'll leave them blank. Once I save those changes, Magnolia instantly creates that page and drops it right into that Magnolia corporate website tree. To edit the page, simply double click it, and I'm again taken straight into that editing interface. So all I have to do now is interact with this main area and start adding components just to build out the look and feel. Magnolia's WYSIWYG editor is very rich in its capabilities, where we do have that drag and drop functionality that you would like to see. We also do have very rich copy and paste type functionality, which will allow us to copy from another using template. So I can go over here to the About page, and I can select the template that I want to use, a component that I want to use, sorry. So we'll select this component. We'll copy that item and go ahead and paste that item here. And just that simple, I was able to copy an existing component and paste it into a new page. Now, all I really have to do is edit this component for this page and just change the information on it so it reflects differently. So again, we'll hit the pencil icon. That takes me into the editing interface. So with this dialog, the user can interact with the different features that they want to build on that page. So let's go ahead and change that heading. So we'll leave all this the way it is and just go ahead and change the headline to read Magnolia International HQ. Once I save those changes, you'll notice that instant preview that Magnolia offers, so you get to see what it would look like right away on the page. No need to go to another URL or anything else. You get that instant preview with Magnolia. The next feature I want to show you today is Magnolia's rich personalization feature. What it allows us to do is we can personalize an entire page experience, or we can get down, is granular down to the component level. So what we're going to see here is component level personalization. So we're going to adjust this component based on where the user is coming from using our geolocation capabilities to then personalize that component with their office nearest them. So the first thing we want to do is select Add a Component Variant. So what that'll do is automatically create a different variation of that content. So we toggle here between the two different variants. We can see where we have our original and the variant 0, which we'll now define which users get to see this particular variation of content. We'll choose the audience. Over here, we'll give it a user from Spain. So we want to go ahead and specify exactly what audience this is going to be. To do that, we'll go ahead and add a trait. This trait list comes out of the box with Magnolia. However, if you do have any CRM or CDP, Magnolia has rich API capabilities that can allow it to integrate with those third-party softwares and then utilize that to go ahead and build out this trait list. For now, we'll go ahead and select our country using our geolocation as I mentioned before. Pick that and then define what country that user is coming from. So let's say the user is coming from Spain. So that we now have to find this audience. All we have to do is save the changes and then edit the component for that particular variant. To do that, we'll go ahead and change the heading. So I'll select the pencil icon, click on heading, and change the headline here. Save those changes, and again, instant preview of what that'll look like. You can change it a little bit more, remove image, and go ahead and add some text. So we'll add some title text here. And we can also enter some text in this rich text editor box. So Magnolia does offer rich text editing capability. So if you do want to bold, italicize, and give your users that capability, it's very simple for them to go ahead and use that capability here with our rich text editor. They can also copy and paste from Word if needed. That and add some bold text. Save those changes. And again, instant preview so we can see exactly what that'll look like. We can also interact with the map to change our map location for the Spain office. So we'll go ahead and interact with that pencil icon. I can change the latitude and longitude here. And once I change those, I'll leave the dimensions as is, save those changes. And that went ahead and changed it and dropped the pin right where that office is. So just like that, I can create different variations of content and I was able to personalize that component. So we have our original and now our Spain visitor. The next component I would like to add to the page is a form component. Let's select the plus icon here and then select from a list of all the different available components that I can add to this particular page. We're going to select our marketing form component. Our marketing form component is another showcase of Magnolia's rich API capabilities. So what it will do is it'll interact with a Salesforce or Marketo, pull in those forms directly into Magnolia so you can have those on the site and then they will interact with that third party. This is something we actually use on our own corporate site. So if you filled out a contact us form on Magnolia CMS site, that marketing form goes directly to Marketo and gets put into Salesforce so we can interact and get in contact with our team. So what we'll do here is select that type of component called marketing form, hit next. We can select a list of different connectors that we may have. So let's select that Marketo connector. And then with the API connectivity, it gives me a list of all the available forms that I have already in Marketo. So I can go ahead and scroll down this list and select our contact us form, save those changes, and it brings in that form directly from Marketo into the page. So all the fields that you have required in Marketo come directly into the page, and it'll take the form and the CSS of that page. And just like that, I was able to interact with the third party, drop in a form with Magnolia. So I just need to publish out this page. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and preview this page. So to do that, I'll simply select preview page in the action bar here. And what you'll notice I did a few things. One, it removed those green bars from around this page so I can see what it would look like when it's live and published on the site. And it also opened up me the capability to be able to toggle and see what this will look like on different viewports. For example, tablet portrait, I can see what that experience would be like for a user, as well as maybe a smartphone portrait. This list is completely customizable, so if you did have different aspect ratios like iPhone or Android that you wanted to showcase, you could have those added there and be able to have your users test against those as well. The next thing I can also do is preview as a visitor, so I can test the personalization that's on this page. So what I can do here is toggle between different users, so different personas I have in the system, so I can automate this process a little faster. I can also add traits ad hoc here as well. So I'll add a country trait, pick that, and this will allow me to test what different countries will see when they get to the site. Example is a United States visitor will see the Magnolia International headquarters, whereas a user from Spain will get that personalized component that we created for a Spain visitor. There it is. So they'll see the Magnolia Spain office information as well as where it is on the map. It's that easy really to test out a page experience when it comes to personalization of Magnolia. Magnolia also offers workflow publication. To do that, we'll simply go back to the Pages app, select the page that we want to publish, and from our action bar, we simply hit publish. What I can do here is enter a comment, say what I've changed on that page, and then I can select a publication date. A publication date is a day and time in the future in which this content will go live in public. I can also set an unpublication date to unpublish a piece of content as well. What happens after I select publish is that this will send a notification out to everybody that's part of the publication group and has their role to be able to approve and publish out a piece of content. So that's using Magnolia's workflow module, which is completely customizable. So as many steps as you have in your organization is what you're allowed to have with Magnolia's workflow. And that concludes the demo portion. So now we'd like to open it up for a QA session.